Let me go grab him. I grab him. Mitch, you got the keys. Did I bring it? That boy nasty. That boy nasty. Nasty, That title is bananas. What come to your mind? What you was talking about? Well, that's only because you was talking about it with me. But you'll think jealousy, you'll think, you know what I'm saying? The complete opposite of what it was.
Just stay there.
That's the front of the house, right? Can you do that? Can you? So I can walk on water. It's almost like what you got on. Just with the hood. We got waters coming around. Anybody want water? Anybody want water? Money. Come in the house. Stone Cold it.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
shalom, family. Come on. Let's applaud his goodness. He's been good. We love him Shabbat. He's kept it.
Big.
I feel his ruach today, I tell you. I feel it all over me. He's so good. Let's stand, everyone. Be praying.
start this off in Deuteronomy chapter 6. And verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. This is Exodus of Shemot chapter 20 and verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones against the Most High. We will not make any carved image or any likeness of that which is in Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them, nor serve them. For Yahuwah is jealous of them, visiting the wickedness of the fathers of the children to the 34th generation of those who hate him, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. We will not bring the name of Yahuwah to nothing, for Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished, who brings his name to nothing. We will remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kodesh. 6 days we will labor and do all our work. But the seventh day is the Shabbat, Yahuwah. For in 6 days, Yahuwah made Shamayim, and the earth, and the sea, and all that is in them. And the rest of the seventh day, therefore Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our fathers and our mothers, so that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything as our neighbor.
Father Yah, we come before you, Father, asking that you would incline your ear to our prayers, Father, and accept our petition, Father. That you would look past our faults, Father, and see only your Son, the blood that was shed, Father, for the remission of our transgressions, Father. We pray, Father, and ask that you would allow your Ruach, Father, to reign with us today, Father. That you would allow your word to go forth without hindrance and without obstacle, Father. That you would give utterance unto the speaker and understanding unto the hearer, so we all may be doers of your word. Allow your word to be received with gladness and thanksgiving, Father, for the upbuilding and the uplifting of your people, Father. Allow your people to be edified according to your word, Father. Father, all things we pray. Bashem Yahuwah B'Kaya Hoshua Mashiach Ruach HaKodesh. So be it.
Hallelujah. Keep on here. Yeah. This song says, and we've done it before, come in the house. Come in the house. And it seems like every time we sung it, it's been a good mood in this particular song. Just share something real quick. It had to be, I think, Wednesday. It was in my living room. My wife was upstairs and she was asleep. And I began to talk to the Most High. And this song dropped. It started dropping on me. Come in the house. Come in the house. And I began to sing it, and I began to make up different things in the song. I'm not going to do today, because I can't remember what I made up. But I was singing it. And he wanted me to tell, he chose to see, it's not just a song that we sing for this particular building, but you asking him to come into the house of your heart every day. Come in the house. You're welcome on a Thursday. You're welcome on a Monday. You're welcome when it's raining outside. You're welcome when I'm broke. You're welcome when I have a pocket full of money. You're welcome. And begin to share with me where there's certain things in my house, there's certain things that's not in my house. I didn't understand what I was thinking loudly. He said, well, there's no pride in your house, not in my house. Don't dwell here. There's no confusion that dwells in my house. There's love that's in my house. There's peace that's in my house. You can't be coming in the house and you at war with your wife. You at war with your husband. You at war with somebody on the job. But there's peace that you want to keep. So a few days go by. We in the Shabbat yesterday. Great move, fun, fellowship. The Most High blessed chosen seed. But let me tell you this. Everything that was told to me on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, I'll come in the house, we was going to see. Till it got to the point, I read an inbox. Someone clicked on a picture of my wife and I. And got a lot of likes. People loved it, just sharing. Just a picture. Just a picture. And brother who not here lives in Atlanta. He's IUIC, grew up with the guy. And I watch him battle with a lot of people online. I don't say nothing. And anger, what he wrote, was trying to overtake me. I wanted to respond, but I was driving, and I said, no, this ain't the best time to respond. I called my op. I knew Travis and Brandon was still, at the day's end. Quad had left, didn't know where he was. I called his phone, he answered, told him. One thing he told me, he said, do not respond with pride. And it's like he knew everything that I was feeling because it was an attack on my wife. And any man knows, when somebody attack your wife, you're ready to go to war. You're ready to say what you want to say. You're just ready. I'm that type of brother. I'm just ready. So I listened to and out of everything, he wanted to get in my inbox and respond on something that she had on. Why your wife don't this? Why your wife that? Why your wife this? And I said, come in the house. Come in the house. I need you to come in this house. You're welcome to come in this house. Because I was ready to go off. And I responded, shalom, brother. Whatever I said, everything was indecent and in order. But I said, you know what? You're trying to check my wife. And I just said good night. I ended up just saying good night because I wanted to go there, and the fleshy side of me wanted to go there. So I just wanted to say, even when he gives me this word on the Wednesday, I didn't know what was going to happen come Shabbat. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know attack was going to come like that. And then the guy just wanted to keep inboxing and inboxing all kind of crazy stuff until I just had to just delete, then open it up, just delete it, go, be gone. Do what you do. So this is why when you are really, really worshiping the Most High and your heart is really in it, the attack is going to come. I know that the attack is going to come on chosen seed. The attack is going to come in your house. But we know we got all power because we just celebrated him rising. We just celebrated Passover. We just celebrated his Ruach. It abides with us. It's in us. So I'm going to ask everybody, stand to your feet. I want to sing this song, Come in the House. Yahushua, you are welcome, but let's get beyond the building of this and make our body really the temple of where he dwells. Come in the house. Come in the house. Yahushua, you are welcome. Come in the house. Oh, come in the house. Come in my house. Yahushua, you are welcome. Oh, come in the house. Everybody help me say, come in. Yeah. Come in the house. Yahushua, you are welcome. Yahushua, you are welcome. Oh, come in the house. Everybody come in the house. Come in the house. Oh, come in the house. Oh, you are welcome. Oh, come Look at somebody across the highway and wave at them. Hey, how you doing over there? Good to see you. If you want to hug, you can. If you want to, come on, let's show love. Theo, good to see you, man. Woo, good to see you, Aaron. Deborah, I see you over there. Come on, show some love. All right. Hey, Diamond. Come on, everybody. Hey, mama, right there. Come on, round that one. Come on, lift your love. Lift the love. Yeah. Let the love. Come on, lift up. Let the love. One more time. Let the love be in the house. The love. What's up, Karen? Come on, lift your voice, everybody. Let the love be in the house. The love be in the house. Oh, let the love be in the house. One more time, I promise. Let the love be in the house. Look to John Beard. I hear that one. All right, dude. Travis, you know the verse? I don't know the words. Talk about these Johns. You can't remember how to. I know during my life. Just a little bit. Here we go. My life, my source, my strength, everything. I call you holy, I call you righteous, I call you faithful, I call you life, way, true, you know it, everything you are. Oh, we take it, Yahuwah, 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 you are holy, you are holy, you are holy, holy, you are 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 holy.
You are holy.
ladies. I want all the ladies to sing it. Unto the Abba Father. I was telling my wife the other day. I said, baby, can you pray for this? Because he listens to y'all. He likes his daughter. So I want y'all to just sing until in your voice, you hold it there. You are holy. Just the lady. You are holy. 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 Y'all ready, fellas? Come on, fellas, say it. Where the kids at? Y'all ready? Y'all with it? Y'all in the rhythm? Yeah. Y'all, come on, boy. Come on. Say holy. Say holy. Say holy. 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 Hallelujah. Keep them in your house. Keep them in your house. Keep that praise going all the time.
Hallelujah.
His praise shall do what? Continually. That means it don't turn off. I never understood the term. I'm going to get my praise on.
That's right.
What? That means it's off. If you got, it's never off. It's always on.
Always on. That's right.
You feel me? It's always on.
That's right.
Uh-oh. Are we in this key? Shiver.
Uh-oh.
Step higher. Okay, let's go up a step. I ain't got no more voice in my step. Oh, we gotta do it, y'all. I'm just helping everybody. Oh, put the glasses on. Let me know what to do. Woo!
Hero, you're trying.
Yeah, let's just do a little bit of it.
Hero, you're trying. I know y'all feel that. I know y'all feel that. I need everybody move. If this drums and this piano make you move, y'all ready? Come on. Since I Israel, now I am hey, need everybody move. Since I Israel, now I let's get another one in there. Let's get another one. Since I Israel, now oh, yeah. Come on, color response. You ready? You ready? Oh, y'all ain't ready? Yeah, we gonna take it back. Y'all ready? You ready? Let's go. Come on. Can y'all go a little bit lower? Let's see if we can do a little bit lower. I ain't gonna use this. Down.
Let's sneak up on y'all.
Sneak up on the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Jericho!
Now we gonna let them hear it. Y'all ready? Come on. Come on. Y'all scared me for a minute.
I done made a sword out the stick.
Hey, next order of business, we got to get the drummer some more sticks.
Yeah. Mess with my wife if you want to.
You know, this one here. Head piece. Head piece. Head piece.
Pass the mic.
Yeah, y'all have me scared for a minute. Shoot, I thought y'all wasn't ready to pray. Like this wasn't a Shabbat that he gave us the rest.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I was glad to tell my job I can't work on Saturday.
I heard that.
I was glad. Most time I need a rest. I need me to pass this napkin. Everybody bring me a paper towel. My brother is sweating. Appreciate it. Yeah, I do need it for real. I was sick.
And I just need a regular paper towel.
You can get me the teacher's napkin. He get the elder's napkin. He get the bishop's napkin. All right. We're gonna give Brother Jerome the deacon's napkin. No gum chewing. We're gonna give Sister Wanda the usher's napkin. All right.
Just do that finger up.
Oh man, hallelujah. And for our next dynamic speaker,
I'm already here. Let's get it.
the MELO.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
How's everybody?
Good.
Good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Everybody mute your phones, please. Make sure your phones are muted. Make sure your phones are muted.
I thought that was yours.
I got a question for y'all.
I can use yours.
What
Anybody this? Anybody need one? Are you good? Nobody need
What is a friend? There's no trick to it at all. It's straightforward is what I'm asking. No trick at all. What is a friend?
What my homies call.
Okay. Are you a good friend? A true friend? It's not a trick. Straightforward question. Dang. I would have thought I'd ask some super Jeopardy question. Simple question. Are you a good friend?
Okay, he said it yes the second time. You made him say yes the second time. Tap your neighbor and say you about to learn something.
Title is The Prince Who Could Never Be King. Title is The Prince Who Could Never Be King. All right. So I'm gonna run a scenario by y'all before we get into it. Say, for instance, you've been working at this job for 20 years, right? Follow me. You've been working at this job for 20 years. and you next in line for a promotion. The job that old man Jenkins is about to quit. This job pays $35 an hour. You've been waiting on this for the last 5 years that they said Mr. Jenkins is about to quit, right? But your friend been working there for 8 years. Your best friend, closest friend. And all of a sudden, instead of you getting a job, your best friend get it. How do you feel about that? Happy and sick?
Happy for them, disappointed for me.
Any like, this nigga stole my job. None of that? No feel. Oh, that's
I
good.
don't
That's good.
believe that.
There go the real one. Who said it? Why she get it out there? That's the real feeling right there. That's like 80% of the world right there. Said you about to learn something today.
Let's get Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. Because we throw that word friend around real loosely, right? Throw it around real loosely. People that we just come in contact with, we say, oh, that's my friend. Children all the time say, those my friends. And this person just talked about you like a dog, and you turn and say, but that's my friend. So would your friend really make you feel like you want to commit suicide? Right? Would this person really do this to you? But, you know what I'm saying? Old song back in the day, Houdini. Truest lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But the dictionary doesn't know the meaning of friends. We like to be with some because they're funny. Others come around when they need some money. So we grow, you know what I'm saying? It's deep. For real. Proverbs 17:17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 17. A friend loves at all times.
How many times?
At all times.
A friend does what?
Loves at all times.
A friend loves at all times. Read.
And a brother is born for adversity.
Is what?
A brother is born for adversity.
Born for or from adversity. I want y'all to keep this scripture in mind. We're coming back here a little bit later. Read that one more time.
A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
This means good times, bad times, all times. This friend is there. And through adversity, a brotherhood is born from it. So we get into this day and age and we say, it's about to be 2020, girl. My cutoff game is strong.
Okay.
Right? I'm cutting niggas off this year. Right? Always say it. This not a good thing. I always talk about you cutting people off.
Why you gotta keep doing it every year?
So imagine if Mashiach say, you know what? My cutoff game is strong. I'm cutting them niggas off.
Come 2020, my cutoff game strong.
My cutoff game is strong. Proverbs 18:24.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 24. A man that has friends must show himself friendly, and a friend that stick closer, and And there is a friend that stick closer than a brother.
And there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. I'm gonna read this from a different translation. It's not translated too good from there. Going to the ISV, it says, a man with many friends can still be ruined, but a true friend sticks closer than a brother. So through this life, you may be blessed to have one true friend. One true in your life, you may be blessed. So when it says a man with many friends, this is not really friends. This is like associates, people that you meet and come in contact with and say, yeah, that's my friend. What's his name? Or they call him Mike at the job. You don't know him for real. You don't really know him. So you think you know one person, and then I'm with him, and we act like this. But when this third party come in, it switch up. This nigga acting funny. Why ain't with them? Right? This is stuff we seen all growing up, right? We had the cousins on this side. It was all good. But as soon as the cousin from her daddy's side come in, she acting funny. It's three of us. We hang out everywhere. We do everything together. All of a sudden, P and Trav go see the Avengers and they don't tell me about it. Dang, I like the Avengers. Why they didn't invite me? I'm gonna feel some type of way, right?
And it's only the Avengers.
You was in there studying, so we ain't want to bother you. Proverbs 25:17.
Speaking of, y'all want to go see the Avengers?
Yeah, I do.
Check it out.
Don't tell Quad.
25 and
17.
Proverbs chapter 25, verse 17. Withdraw your foot from your neighbor's house, lest he be weary of you and so hate you.
Okay, read that one more time.
Withdraw your foot from your neighbor's house, lest he be weary of you and so hate you.
So what this is saying is, rarely go to your friend's house. What your mama tell you when you was growing up? Stay up behind at home sometime. You're gonna wear your welcome out. People get tired of you. Stay home sometime. That's what this is saying. Seldomly set your foot in your neighbor's home. Otherwise, he will grow tired of you and hate you. But friends think we gotta be with each other every second of the day. It's telling you don't do that.
Well, you did want to go to the Avengers.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it's telling you don't do this. You're gonna wear out your welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we know we heard this stuff when we was little, right?
Yeah.
Don't you go over there. People get tired of you.
Yeah. That's real, though. That's in the Bible, y'all.
So you know these black people. You know these black people right here. Don't go over there. You've been over there every day. Stay home sometimes. Verse 20.
Verse 20. As he take away a garment, as he that take away a garment in cold weather.
So if it's cold and your friend take your coat away from you, how would you feel? Salty, right? Read.
As he that take away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon nitre.
That means soda or carbonated like drink. So if you put vinegar in a pot, what does it do? It bubble up, right? That's the anger that you're gonna feel if you take your coat from you. when it's cold, even if it's his coat. Read.
So is he that sings songs to a heavy heart.
To a what?
To a heavy heart.
This is a person that's out of touch. It says sing songs to a heavy heart. When we go into this singing songs, all what you got, give me to understand what it's talking about, this singing songs, get 1 Samuel 18:6. It says singing songs to a heavy heart.
First Samuel
18 verse 6.
1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 6. And it came to pass as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all cities of Israel singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music.
So this person is going through something and you singing songs of joy. And I'm crushed in my soul and you singing happy people. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what this is talking about. You singing songs of joy. When I'm crushed in my soul, don't do that. This is a friend that's out of touch, that don't have understanding to see that something is bothering you. And you still come around me doing this, and you should know me better than this. If you was really my friend, you would know not to do this at this time. Proverbs 26:18.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 18. As a madman who casts firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceived his neighbor and said, am not I in sport?
So again, KJV don't got it translated too good.
I was joking with you. I was only joking. Yeah.
So we'll read it from the Hallelujah. Like a madman who throws sparks and arrows and death, so is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. Again, this is the friend that play too much. Here comes this nigga. Don't get it always planned. Like, dude, we not in high school no more, dude. Stop. You play too much. We all know this type of person, right? Play at the worst times. We build into something. Proverbs 27:6.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy is deceitful. I want y'all to keep this in your mind right here as well. We coming back to this too, to see what this really means. What y'all think this means? Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. What do you think this means? That's what you need. You need somebody to tell you, to pacify you and lie to you, to your flesh, to make you feel good about it. I mean, you're going to stay in the lie. You're going to stay doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Hold on to this. Y'all should write this down on the side somewhere. We're coming back to that. Proverbs 29:5.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 5. A man that flattereth his neighbor spread a net for his feet.
You do what?
A man that flattereth his neighbor spread a net for his feet.
What does this mean? A man that flattereth his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. Basically, it's just like what we just went through. This is the one that will lie to you. This is the kisses of an enemy. He's not going to tell you the truth. He's going to let you believe a lie or whatever it may be. Proverbs 27:5.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
So open rebuke is better than secret love. What does that mean? Open rebuke better than secret love. Exactly. So when we say about friend, who was the friend in the scripture that y'all can think of that would be the best friend? Besides Mashiach, that's the obvious one. Jonathan, or Jonathan, as his name really is, not Jonathan, but Jonathan. All right, that's where we going. Let's go to 1 Samuel. First Samuel chapter 8. Try to walk this out and show a true friend. Pick it up at verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1.
So this is back in the day. This is Samuel is the last judge before the kings come into the scene. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba, and his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. And all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, you are old, and your sons walk not in your ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Make us a what?
Make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
I told you, everything that comes upon you, you chose it, right? All the things that happen to you, or the majority of the things that happen to you in your life, you chose them. You brought them to yourself. Read.
But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto Samuel, Listen unto the voice of the people and all that they say unto you. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me.
They rejected who?
They have rejected me, that I should not reign over them.
So right here, they didn't want Yah being king over them. They wanted a king like everybody else. We wanted to be just like everybody else, right? We didn't want Yah to reign over us. So he's telling you, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me. Read.
According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto you. Now therefore, listen unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of king that shall reign over them. And Samuel told all the words of Yahuwah unto the people that asked of him a king.
So right here, he say, give them what they want. But before you get what you want, I'm going to let you know what you are choosing. So again, when this thing come back on you, I told you what it was. Adam and Eve, he gave them a what?
Choice.
Choice before they did it. Before Cain did, what he do?
Choice.
Gave him a choice. Everybody got a choice, and you choose what comes to you. Keep that in mind. What verse was you at?
This is verse 11 now.
Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. And you shall cry out in that day because of your king, which you have chosen,
Which you what?
which shall have chosen you.
He says, in that day, you're going to cry out for the king, the one that you chose. But why would you cry out for the king that you chose? Does that make any sense? You're going to choose somebody that's going to make you cry. Why would you do that?
Right, especially when you know up front.
Just like he told him, the day that you eat from this tree, you're going to die. No parable, straightforward. He telling them up front, if you choose this, this is what's going to happen. Read.
And Yahuwah will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refuse to obey the voice of Samuel.
Nevertheless, he gonna make us cry, he gonna make us slaves and everything, but we still want him. Doesn't make any sense. Read.
And they said, no, but we will have a king over us, and we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles.
So right here, this is the end of the judges and enter into the kings. So these people just judge themselves. You rejected the king, and he giving you your judgment to your face up front of what's gonna happen to you. Certainly you're thinking like, wait a minute, that's gonna happen? Okay, we'll stick with you. No, they didn't do that. What verse you at?
This is verse 21.
All right, finish that out.
And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Samuel, listen unto their voice, make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go you every man unto his city.
All right. 1 Samuel chapter 9.
1.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a man in Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Shaul, a choice young man.
A what kind of man?
A choice young man, a goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he.
Let me ask y'all a question. What was Saul's character from what y'all know? Mean, evil. What else?
Saying jealous.
Prideful. Why did y'all pick him? He looked the part. Ain't this how we do everything? Two things. Let's say, for instance, this medicine that we get from the store, it'll be put in bubblegum flavor, right? And this rutabaga, whatever it is, right? It'll be nasty than a mug. But if you drink this for a week straight, it'll get whatever you got. But the bubblegum flavors. I don't want no more. Get that and give me that bubblegum stuff. We know this is no good, right? But we still choose it because this one tastes nasty. We like everything that look beautiful to the eyes. Beautiful on the outside, but inside, rotten, like the scribes and the Pharisees. Right? Exactly. Keep that in mind. Read.
Verse 3. Let me finish out verse 2. From his shoulders and upward, he was higher than any of the people.
From his shoulders upward. Way.
Tallest and the most of them.
He was tall, dark, and handsome, as the saying would go. So the people, he gave you exactly the type of king that he know that you would want. He know this is what you would want. All right, jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And when Samuel saw Shaul, Yahuwah said unto him, Behold, the man who I spake to you of, the same shall reign over my people. Then Shaul drew near to Samuel in the gate and said, Tell me, I pray you, where the seer's house is. And Samuel answered Shaul and said, I am the seer. Go up before me unto the high place, for you shall eat with me today, and tomorrow I will let you go, and will tell you all that is in your heart. And as for your donkey that were lost 3 days ago, set not your maid on him.
So right here, if y'all know the story, Saul was a farmer, a normal, regular farmer, out looking for his donkeys. So he gonna go from a farmer to a king. Read.
For they are found, and on whom is all the desire of Israel? Is it not on you and on all your father's house? And Shaul answered and said, Am not I a Benjamin, of the sons of the tribes of Israel? And my family the least of all the tribes of Benjamin? Wherefore then speak you to me?
Sound like he humble right here, right? Exactly. That's where he started off. He humble right here. I'm the smallest tribe. Me? Read.
And Samuel took Shaul and his servant and brought them into the parlor and made them sit in the chiefest place among them that were bidden,
Chiefest. Go ahead.
which were about 30 persons. And Samuel said unto the cook, Bring the portion which I gave you, of which I said unto you, set it by you. And the cook took up the shoulder and that which was upon it, and set it before Saul.
And did what?
And set it before Saul, or Shaul. And Samuel said, Behold, that which is left, set it before you and eat. For unto this time hath it been kept for you, since I said, I have invited the people. So Shaul did eat with Samuel that day.
So right here, Saul goes from a farmer living an everyday normal life to a king. What does this make Jonathan?
Prince.
The prince, right? So now Jonathan been living this regular normal life, and all of a sudden he's thrust into the prince position. How do you think that makes Jonathan feel? Exactly. So who wouldn't enjoy this, going from nothing to, we at Buckingham Palace,
Or from rags to riches.
right? So all of a sudden, Jonathan, or Jonathan, is a prince. From nothing to a prince in one day. Keep that in mind. What verse was you in?
This was going into verse 25.
1 Samuel chapter 10. Y'all go back through this story and read it detailed, script for script, so you can really, really understand this. 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 13.
1 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 13. And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, Whither went you? And he said, To seek donkey. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel.
So this is Saul retelling the story of him looking for his donkeys. Read.
And Shaul's uncle said, Tell me, I pray you, what Samuel said unto you. And Saul said unto his uncle, He told us plainly that the donkey were found. But of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, he told him not.
So he told him about the donkeys, but about the matter of him being king, he don't even mention it. it seemed like that would be the first thing that you would mention. Yo, bro,
Man, skip the donkey.
he just made me the king. He don't even mention it. He keep it to himself. Why y'all think he done that? Well, he definitely didn't do nothing, but he just really looked good.
Did he not believe it?
We don't see his character. So he didn't make no mention of this. The verse you at?
It's verse 17.
Jump to verse 21.
Verse 21. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Shaul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found.
They what?
When they sought him, he could not be found.
So now they looking for Saul. It says he could not be found. Read.
Therefore, they inquired of Yahuwah further, if the man should yet come there. And Yahuwah answered, behold, he hath hid himself amongst the stuff.
So Saul is hiding. What would make Saul hide?
Yeah. I ain't trying to be.
This nigga in the luggage hide. So he didn't mention the kingdom. Now he hiding from the people. Why would this dude be doing that? That's strange. He's showing he's a coward. It's gonna come out. Read on.
And they ran and fetched him there. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders and upward.
So this make it even worse. You a big coward. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be, but you taller than everybody else, and you a coward, hiding from the people. Think about that. You like Shaq, but you scared. Verse 24.
Verse 24. And Shemuel said to all the people, see you him whom Yahuwah hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, Elohim, save the king.
So they geeked about it. Again, he handsome, he tall, the whole nine. But we see that he's a chicken, right? He's scary, right? But what did we ask for a king for in the first place?
To fight for us, to lead us.
To fight for us. That's what we asked for the king for. That's what we wanted him. So he would go out and fight for us. But do this seem like the guy that's gonna do it? This dude is coward. He hiding himself among luggage. 1 Samuel chapter 11. Verse 13.
1 Samuel 11:13. And Saul said, there shall not a man be put to death this day, for today Yahuwah hath wrought salvation.
Who brought the victory?
For Yahuwah hath wrought salvation in Israel.
So right here, Saul gets a victory under his belt. But he knows that it's Yah that has did this. This is his first conquest into this war thing. Hold that. Get 1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 16. He should never be afraid. He should never be scared. Just like Moses should never be afraid. He should never be scared. Because always Yah says what? I will
Fight for you.
Fight for you, or I will be with you.
Yeah.
So if Yah say, I'm with you, I don't care what gang on the other side of the river. I don't care how many guns they got, whatever they got. If Yah say, I'm with you, let's go. But we see our people still was scared though.
1 Samuel chapter 9, verse 16. Tomorrow at this time I will send you a man out of the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be captain over my people Israel, that he may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people because their cry is come unto me.
So it's no reason for him to ever be afraid. But we starting to see his character. All right. 1 Samuel chapter 13. Pick it up at verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 1. Shaul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Shaul chose him 3,000 men of Israel.
How many men?
3,000 men of Israel,
So he got 3,000 men. Read.
whereof 2,000 were with Shaul in Michmash and in Mount Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan.
So Jonathan has 1,000 with him, 2,000 with Saul, and 1,000 with Jonathan. Read.
In Gibeah of Benjamin, and the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent. And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gibeah, and the Philistines heard of it. And Shaul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. And all Israel heard, saying that Shaul had smitten the garrison
So
of the Philistines.
who smit the garrison of the Philistines?
Yes, sir.
Who did?
Yes, sir.
Jonathan did it. Saul didn't do it. We see a difference in Jonathan and in Saul. Jonathan is about the life. Read on.
And that Israel also was had an abomination with the Philistines, and the people were called together after Shaul to Gilgal. And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen.
How many was with Israel? 3,000, right? But they got 36,000. Go ahead.
And the people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude, as they came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward from Bet Aven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed, then the people did hide themselves in caves.
They did what?
Hide themselves in caves.
But y'all with them. Why they hiding in caves? Exactly. You acting like you're a leader. You hide, you fearful. Y'all don't give us the spirit of what?
Fear.
But they taking on his character. Read.
Then the people did hide themselves in caves, in thickets, and in rocks, and in high places, and in pits. Some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Shaul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling.
Did what?
Followed him trembling.
A bunch of curves. Read.
As he tarried 7 days, according to the set time that Shaul had appointed. But Shemuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him.
So he told Saul, wait here 7 days for me. Wait on me. Y'all say, wait on me. Right? He told this dude to wait 7 days, gave him the instructions. Read.
And Shaul said, bring here a burnt offering to me. And
Hold on. Is Saul a priest?
absolutely not.
Go ahead.
And Shaul said, bring here a burnt offering to me and a peace offering. And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he made the end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Shemuel came, and Saul sent out to meet him, that he might salute him.
So soon as he did this, Samuel popped up. You couldn't wait all that time for that week, like I told you. Got restless and did something that you weren't supposed to do. And soon as he did it, Samuel pops up. Read.
And Shemuel said, what have you done? And Saul said, because I saw the people were scattered from me, and that you didn't come within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Therefore said I, the Philistines will come come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto Yahuwah. I force myself, therefore.
You did what?
I force myself, therefore.
You didn't force yourself. You did it because you wanted to do it. You was a coward. You couldn't wait. Read.
And offered a burnt offering. And Shemuel said to Shaul, you have done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he commanded you. For now would Yahuwah have established your kingdom upon Israel forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Forever. Who got the kingdom took from Saul?
So
He did, right? You did this to yourself. Verse 14.
but now your kingdom shall not continue. Yahuwah hath sought him a man after his own heart, and Yahuwah have commanded him to be captain over his people, because you have not kept that which Yahuwah commanded you.
So what law did Saul break? What law did Saul break in this? Get Numbers chapter 3, verse 10. Yeah.
Numbers chapter 3 at verse 10. And you shall appoint Aharon and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office.
So wait on who?
Their priest's office.
So is Saul one of these people? So he don't supposed to do this, right? Read.
The stranger that come near shall be put to death.
He shall be what?
Put to death.
So we know that the reason why he didn't put to death because he wasn't actually doing this in a being high-minded. He was doing this because he was afraid, which he wasn't supposed to be, but you still lost your kingdom. Back to verse 15.
1 Samuel 13:15. And Shemuel arose and got him up from Gilgal unto Gibeah of Benjamin. And Shaul numbered the people that were present with him, about 600 men.
About how many?
600 men.
About 600 men. How many he had with him before?
3,000.
So he done lost almost all of his people now. They all cowered and ran away. Only 600 of them left. Would that make you more brave or make you more afraid because you done lost 1,000 and some of your men? Because the other 1,000 is with Jonathan. Read.
Shaul and Jonathan his son, and the people that were present with them, abode in Gibeah of Benjamin, with the Philistines encamped in Michmash.
1 Samuel 14:1.
1 Samuel chapter 14 and verse 1. Now it came to pass upon a day, Jonathan the son of Shaul said unto the young man that bare his armor, come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Shaul tarried in the uttermost parts of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree.
Boy chilling up under the tree, drinking lemonade, while his son is about to do something. Notice it say he didn't tell his father this, so Jonathan is doing this on his own. Read.
And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahitub,
Jump down to verse 4. I'll save you.
my man. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of the one was Bozez. What is that? And the name of the other was Sineh.
So to get to these people, Jonathan got to climb up this steep hill. It is both slippery and sharp. It's a death wish. It's both going up it, it's slippery to get up it, but it's got sharp points on it. That will make everybody, most of us, turn around. No, dog, I'm not going up that hill. You see them points on there? And it's slippery. So this is what you put this in your mind. Read.
The forefront of the one was situate northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man that bears armor, Come, and let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that Yahuwah will work for us, for there is no restraint to Yahuwah to save by many or by few.
To save by what?
By many or by few.
So this is the first recorded words of Jonathan. This is the first thing that they record Jonathan speaking. Read that one more time.
For there is no restraint to Yahuwah to save by many.
Go back to the
top. Verse 6. And Jonathan said to the young man that bears armor, Come, let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that Yahuwah will work for us.
It may be what?
That Yahuwah will work for us.
Go ahead.
For there is no restraint to Yahuwah to save by many or by few.
To save by many or by few. We know that he did this numerous times, where he destroyed the many with the few. Just like with Gideon with the 300. So Jonathan knows this. His character is completely opposite of what his father's is. Read.
And his armor bearer said unto him, Do all that is in your heart. Turn you, behold, I am with you according to your heart.
I'm with you. Let's do it. It's only two of them. And they going into a Philistine garrison. Read.
Then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. And if they say thus unto us, tarry until we come to you. Then we will stand in our place, and we will not go up unto them. But if they say thus, come up unto us, then we will go up, for Yahuwah hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. And the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth of the holes where they had hid themselves. Came out of hiding.
Read.
And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up unto us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor bearer, Come up after me, for Yahuwah hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. And Jonathan climbed up upon his and upon his feet, and his armor bearer after him, and they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter, which Jonathan and his armor bearer made, was about 20 men, within as it were a half acre of land, which a yoke of oxen might plow. And there was trembling in the host, in the field, and among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers. They also trembled in the earthquake. So it was a very great trembling.
Agree with what?
A very great trembling.
So we can see Jonathan's character is completely opposite of his father's, right? He about it. He doing exactly. So he got the juice for real. So he doing all of this stuff. In his mind, one day he gonna be what?
King.
He gonna be the king. Because he really about this. Read.
Verse 16. And the watchmen of Shaul and Gibeon and of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away. And they went on beating down one another.
They did. Went on down, beating down one another. All of this because Jonathan is doing this, but he know that Yah is behind it. Read.
Then said Shaul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is going from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer were not there. And Shaul said unto Ahiah, Bring here the ark of Elohim. For the ark of Elohim was at that time with the children of Israel. And it came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priest, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, withdraw your hand. And Shaul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites.
Jump down to verse 24.
Verse 24. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, cursed be the man that eat any food until evening, that I may be avenged on my enemies. So none of the people tasted any food.
So imagine this. You in a war, and you fighting physical battle, physical combat, and you've been doing it all day, and your man make you not eat anything. How do you think that'll make you feel?
Weak.
Weak, right? Because you ain't eating nothing. You're not eating nothing. This is another stupid decision. He tell these people not to eat anything. Read.
Verse 25. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground.
Jump down to verse 27.
Verse 27. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth to the end of the rock that was in his hand.
So Jonathan wasn't there when this oath was made that if anybody eat anything, that they'll be killed, they'll be cursed. But Jonathan wasn't there. This is his son, right? Read.
And dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people and said, your father straightly charged the people with an oath, saying, cursed be the man that eat any food this day. And the people were faint. Then said Jonathan, my father hath troubled the land.
He know his father don't know what he's doing. Read.
See, I pray you, how my eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies, which they found. But had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to that word, or that place. And the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil and took the sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood.
They did what?
Did eat them with the blood.
So the people did eat them with the blood. So they was killing them. They were so hungry that they was eating them raw. They was eating just like Esau was eating that stuff. I was just playing. But this clearly states that they ate them with the blood, right? Not lentils. It clearly states that the people was eating them with the blood. Because they was faint. They was about to die. They was in starvation mode. Like you playing, you hooping all day. But they don't let you drink no water, no Gatorade, no nothing. You famished. So they kill these things and they eat them right on the spot with the blood. Read.
And Shaul said, disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, bring me here every man and his ox, every man his sheep, and slay them there, and eat, and sin not against Yahuwah in eating with the blood.
But you already did it. Now we trying to do it right, but they already done did it. Jump down verse 37.
37. And Shaul asked counsel of Elohim, shall I go down after the Philistines? Will you deliver them in the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day.
He did what?
He answered him not that day.
Why didn't he answer him? He what?
He told him what was going to happen.
He get no answer because he already messed up when he sacrificed in the priest office. Right? Jump down to verse 43.
Verse 43. Then Shaul said to Jonathan, tell me what you have done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in my hand, and lo, I must die. And Shaul answered, Elohim do so and more also, for you shall surely die, Jonathan.
He said, what?
You shall surely die, Jonathan.
So this is his son, the heir to the throne. Because he tasted the honey, even though he wasn't there, Saul is ready to do what?
Kill him.
To kill his first son, the heir to the throne, just off that. And he didn't even hear this. So you ruthless to your own son, but you afraid of everybody else.
Coward.
We see stuff like that around us. You will fight your sister, but you won't fight yours at school. No, you will fight me, but what about when?
Nah. You ain't said nothing to that dude at the club.
Wow. He ready to kill his own son off that. Read that last one.
And Shaul answered, Elohim do so and more also, for you shall surely die, Jonathan.
Go ahead.
And the people said unto Shaul, shall Jonathan die, who have wrought this great salvation in Israel? Elohim forbid. And as Yahuwah live, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground. For he have wrought with Elohim this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not.
So the people had to stand up to Saul in order for Jonathan not to be killed. They stood up to him, no, you're not doing that. He's doing this work for Yah. You're not about to touch that boy. Not one hair on his head gonna fall from him. They protected him.
We on your head.
But Yah so merciful, he give your boy another chance. Give 1 Samuel chapter 15.
15:1.
Yep.
1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 1. Samuel also said unto Shaul, Yahuwah have sent me to anoint you to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore, listen you unto the voice of the words of Yahuwah. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, I remember what Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all they have.
Do what?
Utterly destroy all they have.
Kill everything. Read.
And spare them not.
Do what?
And spare them not.
Go ahead.
But slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. And Shaul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim.
So his commandment is straightforward, right? Kill everything. Everything that's in there. Don't let nothing stay alive, right? No parable, straightforward, right? Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. And Shaul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until you come to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive.
He did what?
Took Agag, king of the Amalekites, alive.
I thought he said to kill him. He was the main one. So he killed all the people, but he didn't kill Agag.
Kept the leader.
Wow. Straightforward commandment, no trick to it, no parable, no nothing. Kill everybody, especially the leader. Read.
And utterly destroyed all the people at the edge of the sword. But Shaul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly.
So he done broke the commandment again. Go in and destroy everything. Knock the whole house down. Kill every roach that's in there. everything that's in there, kill it. He done came and done his own thing again. What verse you at?
This is verse 10.
Go ahead.
Then came the word of Yahuwah unto Samuel, saying, It repent me that I set Shaul to be king,
I'm sorry I set you up to be the king. Read.
for he has turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto Yahuwah all night.
He did what?
Cried unto Yahuwah all night.
Go ahead.
And when Samuel rose early to meet Shaul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Shaul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place and passed on.
Jump down to verse 17.
17. And Samuel said, When you was little in your own sight, was you not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And Yahuwah anointed you king over Israel? And Yahuwah sent you on a journey and said, Go.
So he said, remember when you was little in your own sight? Remember in the beginning, he was what? He was humble. So he said, when you was little in your own sight, because he said, me from the Benjamites, the smallest tribe, me? That's what he reminded him of. Read.
And Yahuwah sent you on a journey and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners of the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then did you not obey the voice of Yahuwah, but did fly upon the soil, and did evil in the sight of Yahuwah? And Shaul said unto Samuel, Yeah, I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah.
You did what?
I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah.
I killed everything and everybody, and I have no animals left. And we cut Agag into pieces. Read.
And have gone away what Yahuwah sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek. I utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, the sheep, oxen,
He's not saying
the
he
chief of
did
the
it.
things.
You in charge. You were supposed to do it, but they did it. No. Read.
But the people took the spoil, the sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto Yahuwah Elohim in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Have Yahuwah as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice.
So what?
To obey is better than sacrifice.
To obey is better than sacrifice. Do what I tell you. It's like when your kids, you tell them they don't know no better. They want to go outside in the snow with no coat on. But daddy, it's not cold out. Put your coat on, boy. I know what I'm talking about. I don't want you to get sick. Do what y'all say do. That's all you gotta do. So we know the end of this. Let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 16, verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 1. And Yahuwah said unto Samuel, How long will you mourn for Shaul,
Get over it. Read.
seeing I've rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill your home with oil and go. I'll send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, How can I go? If Shaul here, he'll kill me.
He what?
He'll kill me.
Even Samuel afraid of him. The
God.
prophet. He say, how can I do this? If Saul find out, he gonna kill me. Samuel was afraid of him. Read.
And Yahuwah said, Take a heifer with you, and say, I'm come to sacrifice to Yahuwah. And call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what you shall do.
Jump down to verse 7. This
Verse
is
7.
the introduction to David. Read.
But Yahuwah said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahuwah see not as man see.
We know he don't see like us. From the head upward, he was taller than everybody else. God don't do that. He don't judge you off the looks. Because Mashiach was what?
Not coming.
Read.
For man look on the outward appearance, but Yahuwah look on the heart. Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither have Yahuwah chosen this.
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Again, yes, he made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Yahuwah have not chosen these.
He did what?
Yahuwah have not chosen these.
He have not chosen these. He should have brought David in the first place. Read.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all your children? And he said, there remain yet the youngest. And behold, he keep the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come here. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy.
He was what?
He was Esau.
Read.
And he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And Yahuwah said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
For this is who?
For this is he.
For this is he. So this is the introduction to David finally coming into the book. We already got Jonathan, Saul, and now David coming to the picture. What verse you at?
This is verse 13.
Read.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the ruach of Yahuwah came upon David from that day forward.
From when?
From that day forward.
Jump down to verse 23.
Verse 23. And it came to pass, when the evil ruach from Elohim was upon Shaul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. And so Shaul was refreshed and was well, and the evil ruach departed from him.
So now David is the harpist that comes into the assembly or wherever they at, and David had the power to play an evil spirit off of you with his music. Sound like a guy that you would want around, right? You going through something, he hit that harp.
Sound like a telephone, right?
Wow. Y'all know that's the beautiful harp. Boys hating on my harp. They ain't my friends, I told y'all.
It's a beautiful sound. Best harp I ever heard.
1 Samuel 17. Pick it up at verse 9.
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 9. If he be able to fight with me and to kill me.
This is Goliath comes into the picture. Read.
If he will be able to fight with me and to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall you be our servants and serve us. The Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel this day.
I do what?
I defy the armies of Israel this day.
He talking to Israel like we nothing. I defy the armies of Israel. Them punks. That's how Goliath is, because he a giant. Read.
Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed.
Read that again.
When Saul and all Israel
When Saul, the leader, and all Israel, read,
heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
and what?
And greatly afraid.
But Saul is taller than everybody else too, right? So, but it says they are dismayed and greatly afraid. Read.
Now David was the son of that Ephraimite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Shaul. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Shaul to the battle.
Jump down to verse 23.
Verse 23.
Now remember, they are afraid.
And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion of the Philistines of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words. And David heard him.
And who heard it?
David heard them.
David heard it. Read.
And the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, have you seen that man that came up? Surely to defy Israel as he come up. And it shall be that the man who killed him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killed this Philistine, and take away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Who is what?
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?
Wow, this little dude, the little shepherd boy. Like, what? What's going to happen?
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine
Read.
that should defy the armies of the living Elohim?
That's what we talking about right there. He ready to get it started right now.
Pretty much the same thing Jonathan said when he first spoke.
Exactly. Jump down to verse 42.
Verse 42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he was disdained. He disdained him, but he was but a youth, and Esau and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog, that you come to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his God.
He did what?
Cursed David by his God.
So he's looking down at David like, you? This little runt? I'll thump you in your head. Wait, get back from here. That's how he's looking at him like, you? Come on, man. Read.
And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give your flesh to the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield. But I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts.
I come what?
I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts.
That boy about that life. You come to me how? But I come to you like this. Read.
I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, who you done defied. This day will Yahuwah deliver you into my hand, and I'm going to smite you and take your head from you.
What? Oh my goodness. That boy, he talking to a giant like this. This is what I'm about to do to you. Read.
And I'll give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day to the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is an Elohim in Israel.
Read.
And all this assembly shall know that Yahuwah saved not with the sword and spear, but for the battle is Yahuwah's, and he will give you into our hand.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, that David hasted and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine.
You ain't got to come to me, I'm coming to you. That dude was about it. Read.
And David put his hand in his bag and took there a stone.
Wait a minute, he don't got a bazooka or no sword or nothing? He got what?
David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in the forehead.
Got him where?
In the forehead.
Read.
That the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth, to the slug. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David.
I don't got no sword. I got a bag full of rocks.
And yeah.
Read.
Therefore, David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him.
And then what?
And slew him.
So remember, all the rest of them is standing back watching this. Saul, Jonathan, everybody is seeing this. This little bitty guy is taking on the giant and taking it to him. They all watching this. What verse you at?
It's still verse 51.
Read.
And slew him and cut off the head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled.
They did what?
They fled.
They fled.
And they cut his head off with his own sword.
Jump down to verse 58. Let's see how Saul feel about this.
Verse 58. And Shaul said to them, whose son is you, you young man? And David answered, I'm the son of your servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite.
Who is it? What? That way you got to know who you is.
Right.
I just saw you do this and we was all afraid and you did that. I need to know who this boy is. 1 Samuel 18.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 1. And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Shaul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul.
He did what?
Loved him as his own soul.
So it says, and it came to pass when he had an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. What does that mean?
Loved him as himself.
Exactly. So I heard people trying to make this stuff out to be some gay, homosexual stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this is showing the instance where it says, you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is the example of it. He loved him as he loved himself. This is selfless. No pride, selfless. Read.
And Shaul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house.
So right here, he didn't adopted David. I got to keep you with me, boy. You something else. Now he's staying in the house with him. Read.
Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul.
He did what?
Made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul.
So again, they say they made a covenant, like, oh, this something. What? Back in the day, people used to make covenants. They would cut their hands and bleed with each other and say, we brothers. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to do that now because the HIV and all that stuff out here. No, we're going to do it with the glove on. Yeah, we brothers. All right? So this is nothing new. They've been doing this stuff. Read.
And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him.
He did what?
Stripped himself of the robe that was upon him.
Now remember, Jonathan is what?
Prince.
He's a prince, right? He's been fighting in the army valiantly all this time, right? It's rightly supposed to, but he, remember, all this other stuff he wasn't there, he don't know about. In Jonathan's mind, he's supposed to be thinking that he gonna be what?
King.
The king, right? So what is he doing right now? Read that verse again.
And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle.
What is he doing right now? He's turning the power over with no malice, with no pride, with no envy, none of this. He's turning it over. He's saying, nevertheless, not my will, but Yah's will. He can clearly see that David is the guy. But instead of fighting it like Saul is doing, which you lost the kingdom yourself, he willingly is doing this. And he don't know about that the Most High told Saul that you can't be king over this. He don't even know this. But he's turning this over to him saying, nevertheless, not my will, but your will. Y'all, you chose him to be this. Keep that in mind. Read.
And David went out whithersoever Shaul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Shaul set him over the men of war, and he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Shaul's servants. And it came to pass, as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing, to meet King Shaul with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music. And the women answered one another as they played and said, Shaul hath slain his thousands, and David his 10,000.
Oh, so now the little shepherd boy getting more props. He getting more love than the king. How do you think this makes Saul feel? because he got something inside of him. What's being hurt right now?
Right.
His pride is in there dying. Read that last verse again.
And the women answered one another as they played and said, Shaul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s.
Mm.
And Shaul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him.
So this is why you see it's so hard for groups to stay together, right? Teams to stay together, because somebody get the most props and the other people don't like it. Pissed. Welcome, new addition to the stage. Ronnie, Bobby, Johnny, Ralph. My God, I got to go. I can't be a part of this no more, right? I can't be a part of this no more because the jealousy pops into it, right? This is exactly why most groups and stuff break up, because somebody's pride gets hurt and they can't take it. Read that last verse again.
Thousands, 10,000.
No, the next one.
Oh, verse 8. And Shaul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed 1,000s. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Shaul eyed David from that day forward.
He did what?
He eyed David from that day forward.
Keep my eye on that little nigga there. He trying to take my spot. Keep my eye on that little nigga there. Yeah, he think he's slick.
Right, David ain't trying to do nothing.
He just doing what you told him to do. Keep my eye on him. Yep. Read.
And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil ruach from Elohim came upon Shaul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand, and as at other times, there was a javelin in Shaul's hand. And Shaul cast a javelin, but he said, I will kill David.
I'm going to do what?
I'm going to kill David.
Wow. Because you was afraid of the Philistine to fight him, and David stood up to do it. They give him props. You ready to kill him? Wow. What the pride does to a person. Read.
I will smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice. And Shaul was afraid of David because Yahuwah was with him.
Because what?
Because Yahuwah was with him.
Scared of him, but I got to get rid of him. He taking my light. He's shining more than me. Let's jump 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1.
So he willing to kill David, knowing that Yahweh and was scared of the Philistines, and he had Yah on his side.
Pride will make you do some foolish things. Verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1. And David fled from Naioth and Ramah, and came and said before Jonathan, what have I done? What is my iniquity? What is my sin before your father that he seek my life? And he said unto him, Elohim forbid, you shall not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it to me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? Is it not so? And David swore moreover and said, your father certainly know that I have found grace in your eyes. And he said,
you know how good of friends we are. Read.
Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as Yahuwah live, and as your soul live, there is but a step between me and death.
We say, what?
There is but a step between me and death.
But a step between me and death. My best friend, daddy, want to kill me. Imagine that. The one that says they souls is knit together. They love each other like they love themselves. But your daddy trying to kill me. You think that'll end your friendship? That's my boy, man. But I think his daddy crazy, man. I'm not going back over there. Right? Most of us, this will be it.
Deal breaker.
I love you, man, but I ain't going back over there. Read.
Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever your soul desire, I will even do it for you. And David said to Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go, that I may hide myself in the field on the third day at evening.
Go ahead.
If your father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me, that he might run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice for all the family. If he say thus, it is well, your servant shall have peace. But if he be very rough,
If he be what?
but if he be very rough, then be sure that evil is determined by him.
Jump down to verse 27.
Verse 27. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said to Jonathan his son, wherefore come not the son of Jesse to me?
Where that boy David at? Read.
Neither yesterday nor today. And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. And he said, let me go, I pray you, for our family have a sacrifice in the city. And my brother, he hath commanded me to be there. And now if I find favor in your eyes, let me get away, I pray you, and see my brethren. Therefore he come not unto the king's table. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan.
Is what?
Was kindled against Jonathan,
Go ahead.
and said unto him, you son of the perverse, rebellious woman.
Wait a minute. You said what?
You son of a perverse, rebellious woman.
Well, it's a modern term that they would say for this, right? You son of a female dog. He's so mad. He talking about his own son. Read that again.
And his wife. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, you son of a perverse, rebellious woman. You don't think I know that you chose the son of Jesse to your own confusion, and unto the confusion of your mother's nakedness?
That boy is hot. You son of a... Read.
For as long as the son of Jesse live upon the ground, you shall not be established, nor your kingdom.
So he like, as long as he alive, you can never be the king. Get rid of him. Jonathan been fighting and doing all these valiant things all this time, but he already turned the robe over to him. He already know what y'all choosing for him. It's already been determined. But as long as this boy is alive, you can never be king. Your kingdom cannot be established. Read.
Wherefore now, send and fetch him to me, because he gotta die.
Go get him. I know you know where he at. Go get him. Somebody said to me when we did the Jacob lesson, well, not to me, they said that if your mother or your father tell you to do evil, you gotta do it. Because it's
At that time, you had to follow your parents.
you gotta follow your parents, whatever they tell you. Do Jonathan do it?
Nope.
Read on.
For as long as the son of Jesse live upon the ground, you shall not be established, nor your kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die.
He said what?
He shall surely die.
So now every time that Jonathan go around David, he is doing what? Disobeying, but he doing something else as well. He risking his own life. He's willing to lay down his life for his friend.
Hallelujah.
Keep that in mind. This is what he's showing you. I'm willing to lay down my life for my friend, even against my father. Because Saul has already showed us that I'll kill you, boy, because you ate that honey. Just for eating the honey, I would kill you. So he's showing my daddy will actually kill me. Keep that in mind. Read on.
And Jonathan answered Saul his father and said to him, why shall he be slain? What have he done? And Shaul cast a javelin at him to smite him.
Tried to hit him with a javelin. Again, tried to kill his son again. Read.
Whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father to kill David.
To do what?
To kill David.
Go ahead.
So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger and did eat no meat the second day of the month. For he was grieved for David because his father had done him shame. And it came to pass in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David, and a little lad with him. And he said unto his lad, run, find out now the arrows which I shoot. And as the lad ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. And when the lad was come to the place of the arrow which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan cried after the lad and said, is not the arrow beyond you? And Jonathan cried after the lad, make speed, haste, stay not. And Jonathan's lad gathered up the arrows and came to his master. But the lad knew not anything. Only Jonathan and David knew the matter. And Jonathan gave his artillery unto his lad and said unto him, go carry them to the city. And as soon as the lad was gone, he rose out of the place towards the south and fell on his face to the ground.
He did what?
Fell on his face to the ground.
Fell on his face to the ground. Why did he fall on his face to the ground? Because he knows it's been determined that Saul is trying to kill him. Read.
And bowed himself 3 times, and they kissed one another and wept with one another until David exceeded.
They did what?
They kissed one another and wept with one another until David exceeded.
So now David realized, I gotta go. I gotta leave. So you know, like in our times when the bad son in the family got to selling drugs and he messed up somebody's dope, and they say, man, the gang's talking about killing you, bro. So he got to get up and move and go to Alabama or something, right? To get away from him. And everybody's sad. And they crying about it. So right here, David and him is crying because his best friend is about to leave him. Right? Think about when you was a kid and one of your friends y'all was the best of friends, and suddenly his mama say, oh, we moving to Tennessee. And you like, I ain't gonna get to see my friend no more. You know what I'm saying? And you be sad about it. So the greatest honor somebody can show you is to cry when you about to leave, or to cry when you come back from somewhere, right? So when I was a kid, we stayed in Alabama because my mom had to work at Ford and there's nobody to keep us. And she used to come to Alabama for Christmas, and we knew that she was only going to be there for 5 to 7 days. So 2 days into the visit, but when they first get there, it's the most happiest time that we can imagine. We can't stop smiling. We know that they on their way. Oh my goodness, we can't wait. But 2 days in, I'm knowing it's only 5 days left and they're going to be leaving. I start crying on the 5th day, and I already know that they're going. So 4 days, it's hitting me harder. I know my mama's up and they get ready to go. I know. Boy, we still got 3 days left. 2 days. Finally, that night come. When I get in the bed with my mama, I hold her around her arm like, you're not going to sneak away from me. right? I wake up. What? I'm crushed because my mama gone.
Yeah.
I feel like this. You know what I'm saying? Get a little older. My brother moves to Minnesota. I'm like 15. He moved. I couldn't turn the faucets off for some reason. I'm crushed. Fast forward. My wife and them come back from Egypt for her father's funeral. I take them to the airport. They get on the plane, and I'm crushed. The taxi driver like, well, I can see that you are sad. I kind of am.
State the
And
obvious.
then my mom get ready to go back to Morocco. I'm driving her to the airport. I'm trying to think about all type of stuff. Basketball. Steph Curry hit 30 last night. The closer we get to the airport, it started hitting me. She finna go. As we turn on Merriman, the faucet turns on. My mama said, baby, don't do that. You making me cry. I can't help it, Bob. And my brother didn't go because he couldn't take it himself. But it's an honor if somebody cry for you when you leave. This is why I'm sensitive to my children. When I'm getting ready to go to the store or something, they start crying because they want to go with me. So they start crying and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, boy, go get your shoes and come on. Even though I know I'm just going to the store and coming right back. So I'm sensitive to that. Man, where was we at? Read that again.
And as soon as the lad was gone, David arose out of his place towards the south and fell on his face to the ground and bowed himself 3 times, and they kissed one another and wept with one with another until David exceeded.
Until what?
David exceeded.
So David is crying worse. Give 1 Samuel chapter 23. Jump down to verse 17. Matter of fact, 16.
1 Samuel 23:16. And Jonathan, Shaul's son, arose and went to David into the wood and strengthened his hand in Elohim.
He did what?
Strengthened his hand in Elohim.
What does that mean? Strengthen his hand. He strengthened his hand in Elohim. David is weary, he weak right now. He's going through it. Y'all got you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Strengthen him, like to pray for him, to encourage him with this. Read.
And he said unto him, fear not, for the hand of Shaul my father shall not find you, and you shall be king over Israel.
And you shall be what?
And you shall be king over Israel, and I'll be next to you. And that also Shaul my father know.
And my father know this. You gonna be the king. And my father knows this. So now let's jump ahead. 2 Samuel chapter 1. Verse 25.
2 Sam chapter 1, verse 25. How are you the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle, O Jonathan?
This is when Jonathan has died in battle. Read.
How are the mighty fallen in the midst of battle, O Jonathan? He was slain in your high places. I'm distressed for you, my brother Jonathan.
Read that again.
I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan.
My what?
My brother.
There's a brother there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Read.
Very pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was wonderful, passing the love of a woman.
Passing what?
The love of a woman.
He said that this love was it was past the love of women. So we know with women or the opposite sex is some sort of a physical thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is deeper. He says that their souls was knit together, meaning I love you like I love myself. This dude was willing to risk his life for David, going against his father, the king, for him. Right? Read that one more time.
I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished? Keep going.
Yeah.
And it came to pass after this that David inquired of Yahuwah, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Yehuda?
So now we see that this is when Jonathan died, but they made another covenant before Jonathan died. Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 14. First Samuel chapter 20, verse 14.
1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 14. And you shall not only, while yet I live, show me the kindness of Yahuwah, that I die not, but also you shall not cut off your kindness from my house forever. No, not when Yahuwah have cut off the enemies of David, every one of them from the face of the earth. So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let Yahuwah even require it at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again, because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon.
All right, that's good right there. So right here, they made a covenant beyond death. That your descendants and my descendants, all this stuff right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think David kept his promise?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 4. Go ahead.
It's that 1 Samuel 20 and 42. It says that Jonathan said to David, go in peace, for as much as we have sworn both of us in the name of Yahuwah, saying Yahuwah be between me and you, and between my seed and your seed forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Go ahead.
And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city.
So he made a covenant. Their friendship went past death. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 4.
2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 4. And Jonathan, Shaul's son, had a son that was lame of his feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Shaul and Jonathan out of Yisrael. And his nurse took him up and fled. And it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame. And his name was
Mephibosheth.
what he said.
This son, both of his legs were broken in an accident. All right? This is Jonathan's son. Remember, they made a covenant that lasted beyond death. So this is Jonathan's only son. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 6.
2 Samuel chapter 9 and verse 6. Now when Mephibosheth, what he said, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence. And David said,
Mephibosheth.
And he answered, behold, your servant. And David said unto him, fear not, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake, and will restore you all the land of Shaul your father, and you shall eat bread at my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is your servant, that you should look upon such a dead dog as I am? And the king called to Ziba, Shaul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto your master's son all that pertains to Shaul and to all his house. You therefore and your servants shall till the land for him, and you shall bring in the fruits, that your master's son may have food to eat. But
Mephibosheth,
your master's son shall eat bread at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, according to all that the master the king hath commanded his son, so shall your servant do. As for
Mephibosheth,
said the king, he shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons.
as what?
He shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons.
So he took him in as his own. It's like when we say this person is the godfather or the godmother, right? If anything happened to me, you got to take care of my son.
Yeah.
We don't really mean this stuff. We don't really mean this stuff. Let's get to the end. Proverbs 17:17. I told you all to remember these. Proverbs 17:17.
Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 17. A friend love at all times.
How many times?
At all
A
times.
friend loves at all times. Read.
And a brother is born for adversity.
A brother is what?
Is born for adversity.
A brother is born for or from adversity. John chapter 15, verse 12. Let's see what these proverbs really talk about. John chapter 15, verse 12.
John or Yuchanan chapter 15 and verse 12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
That he do what?
That he lay down his life for his friends.
That he laid down his life for his friends. Wasn't this what Jonathan was doing?
Mm-hmm.
Read.
You are my friends.
You are my what?
You are my friends.
Mashiach said, y'all my friends. Read.
If you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth, I call you not servants.
Y'all ain't servants no more. Read.
For the servant know not what his master do. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you.
So right here, Mashiach elevates them from servants to his friends. What verse you in?
This is verse 15.
Verse 15, hold on. Read on.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
So remember, when you children, your brothers and your sisters, your aunties, your uncles, your mother and father, you don't choose them, right? But your friends, you choose them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask in the Father in my name, he may give it you. These things I command you, that you love one another.
That you what?
That you love one another.
That you love one another. Read that Proverbs 17 one more time. 17:17.
Proverbs 17:17. A friend love at all times.
All times. Read.
And a brother is born for adversity.
He is born for adversity. John chapter 12, verse 27. What does adversity mean? Trouble, hard times.
John chapter 12,
verse 27.
Verse 27. Now is my soul troubled. And what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this cause came I unto this hour.
He said what?
For this cause came I unto this hour.
So he was born to do exactly what he was doing for adversity, to save his brothers or his friends. Proverbs 18:24.
Proverbs 18:24. A man that hath, let me read that, Luke.
It don't matter.
A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that stick closer than a brother.
There's what?
And there is a friend that stick closer than a brother.
There's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Mashiach is that friend. He lost his friendship with Yah to save us. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7.
Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 7. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd.
Against who?
Against my shepherd.
This is talking about Mashiach. Read.
And against the man that is my fellow.
That is my what?
That is my fellow.
When you look up this fellow, it means friend or companion. He's speaking about Mashiach being his friend. Read.
Saith Yahuwah of hosts, smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered.
And the what?
And the sheep shall be scattered.
So how he alienated his friendship with the Most High, he took on the sins of the world on him. Before this, he never was out of the sight of the Father. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 13. So when he was on the stake, he cried out something. He says, "Why have you forsaken me?" This is why.
Hold on.
Habakkuk 1:13.
Habakkuk chapter 1. Verse 13. You are of purer eyes than to behold evil, and cannot look on iniquity. Wherefore look you upon them that deal treacherously, and hold your tongue when the wicked devour the man that is more righteous than he.
So Yah's eyes are so pure that they cannot behold evil. Since Mashiach took on the sins of the world, at this moment he had to turn his back. This is why Mashiach felt that his father forsaked him, but he did this for his friends. Proverbs 27:5.
Proverbs 27:5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Go ahead.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
He said what?
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Faithful of what?
Are the wounds of a friend.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend. He called the disciples his what?
Friends.
His friends. Isaiah 53 verse 4.
Isaiah 53 and verse 4. Surely he has borne our grief and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim and afflicted. But he wounded for our transgressions.
For our what?
Our transgressions.
So the wounds, the faithful wounds is talking about him, really, because he was the one that was wounded. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Read that Proverbs 27 again.
Proverbs 27 and verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
But the what?
The kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
He said, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of what?
An enemy are deceitful.
Matthew 26:47.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 47. While he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came with him, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. And now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whosoever I shall kiss, the same is he. Hold him fast.
See who the Proverbs is really talking to? Because this is what happened to him. But the wounds, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kiss of an enemy. This is talking about Judas doing what he was doing. But go ahead.
And forthwith he came to Mashiach and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Mashiach said unto him, Friend, wherefore are you come?
He already knew it. He's supposed to be my friend. He called the disciples his what?
Friends.
His friends, right? Matthew 26, pick it up at verse 33.
Matthew 26:33. Kepha answered and said unto him, Though all men shall be offended because of you, yet will I never be offended. Mashiach said unto him, Truly I say unto you, that this night, before the cock crow, you shall deny me thrice.
You my friend. We friends. Read.
And Kepha said unto him, Though I die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also, all the disciples.
Or who all said it?
All the disciples.
So everybody think it's just Peter that says it. All of them said it. Keep that in mind. Read.
Then cometh Mashiach with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit you here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him and Kepha and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful.
My what?
My soul is exceeding sorrowful.
Soul is exceeding sorrowful. This is, you have sorry, you got past it. This is where he said, it's exceeding this. It's past sad. Read.
Even unto death. Tarry you here and watch with me. He went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.
Nevertheless, what?
Not as I will, but as you will.
Jump down to verse 73.
Verse 73. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said to Kepha, Surely you also are one of them, for your speech bewareth you. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not that man.
Wait a minute, you just said you wouldn't deny him.
I know not that man.
Because that's your friend. Read.
And immediately the cock crew. And Kepha remembered the words of Mashiach, which said unto him, Before the cock crow, you shall surely deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly.
What?
Went out and wept bitterly.
Wow. So imagine you saying that to him. You say, I won't deny you. I'll die for you. And the disciples say the same thing. As soon as the heat get turned up, you do it. Start cursing. I don't know that.
Insert.
Reverse way.
That's the that was the last one. Last one, 75.
Jump back to verse 31 again.
Verse 31. Then said Mashiach unto them, All you shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad.
Same thing we read in Zechariah. Jump to 36.
Verse 36. Then cometh Mashiach with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto his disciples, Sit you here while I go and pray yonder.
Go ahead.
And he took with him Kepha and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here and watch with me. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." And he come unto the disciples and find them asleep, and said unto Kepha, "What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour?"
So his friends falling asleep on him, knowing he just told him what he about to do. You can't even stay awake from me, man.
Supposed to be watching his back.
This is his friends. Read.
"What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The Ruach indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me except I drink it, your will be done." And he came and found them asleep again, for their
Still
eyes
can't
were
stay
heavy.
Still can't stay awake.
And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then come he to his disciples and said unto them, "Sleep on now, take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that do betray me."
He is at what?
He is at hand that do betray me.
So he is the one the friend that loves at all times, even though his friends fell asleep on him. They turned their back on him. They fled from him. When the trouble came, when he rose from the grave, what did he do? Did he cut him off? Was his cutoff game strong right there? He is the friend that loves at all times. Anybody in here a good friend?
That's right. That's what I said. Bold.
One more time. Is anybody in here a real friend?
Yeah.
And if you're not, reflect.
That was it.
With that, we say shalom.
Woo! Hallelujah. You liked it, you hated it, you loved it. Teach that one again. Don't teach that one never again. Questions? Comments? That was pretty thorough. All right. Now we're gonna go to the chat and see what we got going on in the chat. Yes, great lesson indeed. I think this brother is so thorough, we don't have not one question. We have not one question.
Cool. That's it. Or maybe it ain't no food.
That sounds like that.
Y'all ate the whole week.
Can't help but gain weight. You going crazy. Children of Babylon, he couldn't sleep when God was putting
No, I know when I see these questions on Facebook, my lesson is coming from Bishop Apostle Mello.
Who is that being funny? Banish him.
What they say?
Right?
I thought you was going here with it.
All right, let's pray out.
Say it's a question.
No, that wasn't a question. It was a question. Somebody asked about your brother, Matt Rock.
Miss J from Beyond 9 Collections.
Oh, it is another one. Any tips on choosing a friend or how to try a person before claiming them as a friend? Proverbs 6.
Friends reveal themselves. Friends are born through adversity.
Yeah, like the Proverbs is showing, it's through adversity that they get revealed. What do you say?
Proverbs 6, verse 1.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 1. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth.
Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, verse 3.
Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself when thou art come into the hands of thy friend. Go, humble thyself, and make sure thy friend.
He says, go and humble yourself and make sure that they're your friend. You got to take some things into perspective. Was they there when I was down? Was they there when I was on? Was they only there when I was up? You know what I'm saying? You gotta ponder on these things. You know what I'm saying? You can't just call somebody your friend just because they cool people. It's a lot of cool people that are, you know.
See, like what he say in verse 1, he say, my son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken the hand with the stranger. This is talking about this. Because we do this with any and everybody, and we think that this is a cool thing.
Right.
But you just met them. You haven't tried them. But when these trials come up, like what Shiak is talking about in these Proverbs, then it's proven whether or not he your friend.
Yeah.
Is he there for you in these times of need? Or do he turn his back on you?
Perry got one in the APOC. Some great wisdom in this.
Yep.
You might have to stand up, brother.
Ecclesiastes 37, verse 1, it says, every friend saith, I am his friend also. You know, not lip service. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name. It is not a grief unto death when a companion and a friend is turned to an enemy. So if you can separate and it don't even affect you, y'all wasn't really that tight in the first place.
Exactly.
There is a companion which rejoiceth in the prosperity of a friend, but in time of trouble will be against him. There is a companion which helpeth his friend for the belly and take up the buckler against the enemy. Forget not thy friend in thy mind, and be not unmindful of him in thy riches.
Got you. So another one on just a level, a regular normal level. If you tell somebody a secret and say, man, I'm going through this, that, and the third. Don't tell nobody. This is between me and you. And that person that you told is, man, I can't hold it. Don't tell nobody. What I'm really going through, bro, is his wife divorced him. Don't say nothing. When it come back full circle, you know you only told one person, right? How did it get out? You did what I asked you not to do. That's not a friend. You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff is what goes on daily. This stuff happens daily. If I say don't say nothing to nobody, I mean don't say it. If I wanted him to know, I would have told him. So this is how you prove a friend. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
And not going here and saying, well,
That comes to backbiting. Yep, absolutely. Everybody needs somebody that will tell them the truth and not tell you what you want to hear. So, for instance, when David did what he did with Bathsheba, people knew about it. They didn't witness it, but they knew about it, right? Because they said, "Go bring her to me." All of them knew about it. Is that the wife of Uriah, the Hittite? Is that the third? They knew about what happened. They didn't see it, but they knew it. Why didn't they tell David? You're afraid of him, right? But what Nathan do? Put the parable on him and told him the truth. After he say, the man that has did this, he shall surely die. It's you. You the guy. He told him the straight up truth right there. You are the bloody man. You the guy that did this. We all need somebody that'll tell us the truth, as opposed to pacifying us with flattering lips and lie to us. But in this day and age, when you tell somebody the truth, they flip it. You hating on me. You just hating on me. Wait a minute, you better weigh that out. At least 4 people told you that. All of them lying.
All of them hate.
Lord God, that people not being able to receive correction,
Exactly.
open rebuke,
Better
and
to
secret
love.
love. That's where that come in. It say if a righteous man smite you, it's a honor,
It's kindness.
kindness. All right.
So a brother told me about 3 years ago after I've done a debate, he told me I was prideful, right? And it stung me like, I'm not humble as do whatever. What are you talking about?
I'm the humblest dude ever.
Say that to me? There you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the whole pride lesson come out, and I'm like, wow, that dude was right. I hit him up and told him, bro, you was right. You was on point with what you said. He told me the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's what all of us gotta do. Reflect on what somebody tell you. It may hit you a little hard at first, but think back on it. Like me and Perry was talking the other day. Wait a minute, this brother said something about me. Let me stop and look at it and see, why did he say that about me? Before I just jump on this and get mad and say he hating, let me actually think about it and see and ask somebody else. Dang, yeah, you're right. I got some work to do.
So
You know what I'm saying?
gotta be constantly self.
So after you have tried a person to see if they are a friend or not, and they prove that they're not your friend, but you like thought y'all was like that, you they friend. And after they have proved themselves that they're not your friend, how you gonna feel about that? Like you feel like you kind of cut off. So
Now that's with the long handle.
Associate.
Yeah, that's more what that is. But you're not even fooling yourself no more, because betrayal don't come from an enemy. It comes from somebody that you say is a friend. So yeah, so now I know what it is. I'm not walking around fooling myself that me and you friends and this, that, and the third. We cool. What up? Speak. Hey. That's it. But so the trick ain't out there no more. Go ahead.
So the question was, how do you know if you should make friends with somebody? Was that the question?
What's
What
a
she
way?
was asked?
What's a way that you can or any suggestions on how you can know if a person is your friend? Let me see. Let me go back. Hold
Again, it comes through adversity. It comes through something, some type of trouble that comes to pass. Everybody there is when it's happy. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say we friends, but when we fall out about something, how do we bounce back and respond to that? You know what I'm saying? We get mad at each other, and usually that's it. I'm done with this thing now. You know what I'm saying? That's not it.
It says how to try a person before claiming him as a friend. Oh yeah. This is the joint that I was thinking about. Go ahead, and I'm gonna read this.
Proverbs 22, 24, 25. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 24, 25.
That's perfect. You want to read?
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 24. Make no friendships with an angry man, and with the furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. That's good. Be not thou one of them that strike of hands, or of them that are sureties for debt. That's on point.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, iron sharpens iron. That means your friends is gonna rub off on you, and you're gonna rub off on your friends. So that's why you will see some of our characteristics on somebody else that hang around us. Oh, you friends with him because he say that same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Hey, check this. Go ahead.
Some friends that think you you judge them. Some people I don't know, they feel like you judge them. Like, you can't judge me, but it says when you try somebody, that's almost like, what I'm saying, you're not judging them, but you kind of putting them to test, saying, okay, do I really need to be around this person? Do I need to, cut ties? But a lot of guys that I've been around say, you can't judge me. I said, we're trying. You is kind of like me judging.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's my choice to be around you or not.
Exactly.
Let him read this Ecclesiastes 6.
Ecclesiastes 6 and 7. If you would get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Absolutely. That's why, again, we meet somebody on the first date. That's my friend. We friends, and you don't even know him. That's why that thing is thrown around
That's not the one you read.
so loosely.
I'm gonna read some more.
You know what I'm saying? That's why that word friend is thrown around so loosely. But you got to be like Mashiach to be a true friend. You got to be like what Jonathan was, that even though the kingship was taken from him, so to speak, he was still happy for David. He gave it to him willingly. He did it willingly, without even knowing that the king, he wouldn't be the king. He did it on his own. Here, you take the robe. You take the ring. You take the chain. Here, you get my sword. It's yours. And this nigga, I'm going to go on and kill him like my daddy said, dude. Because that's my kingdom. Go ahead.
Check this out. It says, if you would get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of your trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover your reproach. So when y'all not cool no more, they gonna tell all your dirty laundry, right? It says again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of your affliction, but in your prosperity he will be as yourself and will be bold over your servants. So when you down in the dirt, you know what I'm saying? He like, hey, stuff happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? But when you up, you got your income tax check. You know? Hey man, this is my guy. This is my brother.
We balling out, boy.
Right? It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. Nothing do countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is medicine of life, and they that fear Yahuwah shall find him. Whoso fear Yahuwah shall direct his friendship aright, For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 6.
That goes right with what I was about to say. You get in trouble when you're seeking out friendships. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them develop on their own. It's just like they went seeking out the king and was looking on the surface and got wickedness drawn to themselves. Same thing happened when you're going out trying to seek friendships. You should just let it happen naturally, organically.
Yeah.
No, dude. I know. You want to ask it? Or you want me to ask it? You answer it. No.
Question. If I'm studying and find something that I think is true 90%, should I change up and switch if I'm not 1,000%?
Me, personally, I would not. Whoever asked that, I personally would not. If I don't know completely and I can't uncover all stones and turn all stones, I would not do it. It's a whole bunch of stuff that I got that in my mind that I'll never bring out because I can't cover the 10%. Therefore, nobody in here will ever hear it. Well, maybe them and my brother, but other than that, it will never be brought to the light. That's just me.
Indeed. It's because I'm your friend, huh? As well.
This is my friend.
Let's see, we got a couple more, and I know y'all ready to eat.
See, I'm that friend that your car break down and you on 66 mile. Cole, I need you to come get me. Where you at? 66 mile. All right, man, here I come. I did that before. So
Yeah.
What was you doing out here on 66 miles?
Right, the first question. You can't let them come pick you up. Ain't no real friend.
Use my triple.
Right, you was my triple. I asked you to come get me. All right.
I wanted to talk to you.
What does a marriage ceremony look like for Hebrews?
Somebody did they record Jess and Ralph waiting for it.
Yeah, it's on the King Care Code page.
I think so.
We got there should be a wedding ceremony on the King Care Code page.
What we did was we read scriptures dealing with marriage. There was a bunch
of.
I don't know if the video is up, but what we did was we read scriptures dealing with marriage and the covenant of marriage and how a husband and wife is supposed to deal with one another. They had a foot washing where I think that the husband and the wife, they wash each other's feet, if I'm not mistaken. What else was there? I think that was for the most part. I think that was it. And then they had vows. They explained their own vows. They had a ketubah that was presented. They had vows. They recited their own vows to each other, and then we partied.
Just remember, your friend does not want you to be hurt. So if your friend make you feel some type of way with somebody else that they doing something with, that's not your friend. You know? Again, if this friend switch up when the other friend is around, that's not your friend.
Nope.
They're gonna be the same. You don't want what they call a fair weather friend. Just around when it's good.
When are you brothers going to display that song from the Feast of Unleavened Bread? What song is that?
What's the time? Big out.
Oh, that Love Runs Deep. We this week, it'll be out this week. Don't have us on social media. Travis Snipes on Facebook, Carmelo Johns, Brandon Lawson, and what's your name on Facebook? Ron, what's your name on Facebook? Yaron Ben Israel. So this week, check those pages for the song. Yeah, My Love Runs Deep. That's the name of the song. It says, Shalom, my ox. Oh, that's not a question. No doubt, my ox. We get at you.
Shalom.
Do you have a women's lesson?
All the lessons. They all women's lessons.
Be a little bit more specific, sis. When you say women's lesson.
These lessons is given.
Let's say that would be a blessing to meet the mothers and sisters in truth. Okay. Man, that brother. All right, I think that's it. That's it. All right, let's pray out. Wait.
So Cynthia got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You taught school?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly elementary school children, and I've seen them be so crushed. It's kind of a question about parenting or any of us that deal with younger ones when it comes to training them in their mind, being their child, and protecting them about what real friendship is. Because you tend to, I hear people do this all the time. Somebody has a first play date, or you're out in the park and the little kid comes over to another and they play together, and the parents will put in our minds, I'm sure it happened when I was little, they say, oh, look, you have a new friend. And so they're
Start the process.
thinking, oh, I just met this little girl, this little boy, and this is my friend. And then being a teacher, I've seen kids be crushed, and I have to sit down and talk to them and tell them the real deal, so don't put all your, it's nice to talk with people, play with them, but, it takes a long time to find out that somebody's your real friend, because they are crushed to the heart. And I don't take that lightly, especially nowadays, because kids are doing things themselves, because somebody has crushed them. But what would you suggest to help them? Like I was just teaching them that doesn't have children myself personally, to parents, grandparents, whatever, because as adults, we're talking about what we know in the scriptures to do, but guidance to parents who have little ones, not to put that mindset that as soon as you meet somebody, or they play with you, or they come to your little birthday party, whatever. Really.
Yeah, it's like you said, you got to pull them to the side and talk to them on an individual level. Because I took a class, because I drive a bus, same thing with kids, and they showed how the bullying is so bad that there were certain children that was killing themselves from this, because it was this peer pressure, and by them hanging around these kids, their influence was so strong, and it was hurting them, certain ones so bad that they killed themselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's worse now because it's the internet. It's not only just happened on the bus, but now they got the cameras and it's gonna go viral and it's gonna be all over social media. So everybody see you get bullied, not just the people on the bus, but everybody. So when this stuff happens, these children is going and killing themselves. So the best thing to do is, in that instance, that's why I don't allow it. I can't stand bullies. 1 second, I can't stand them. Is talk to them and let them know this person is not your friend. I had some on my bus just like a week ago. They fighting. She back there, they call it roasting. And she talking about her like a dog. And the next day they sitting next to each other and she come off the bus. I say, weren't you just talking about you? Yeah, but that's my friend. I say, your friend? She made you cry? Is that really your friend? You know what I'm saying? So this is my part of it, because I don't allow that bullying on mine, because I can't stand it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, she asked him first.
Saying basically you keep your distance to keep from being hurt, right? Yeah. But that's what I mean. That's kind of go along with the whole lesson. You gotta you don't put yourself out there too far, but you let things materialize. Like I said, you let it grow, let it materialize organically. It's gonna show. You know what I mean? If it's like you say, friendship is born through adversity. You know what I mean? When you're going through tough times, the person that call you and reach out and say, "Hey, is everything all right?" That's a sign of a friend. You know what I'm saying? If you're going through tough times, the person who you feel confident that you can confide in and say, "Hey, I'm having a tough go at it. Like would you mind praying with me or praying for me, or you mind just listening?" And they make time for you. You know what I mean? And you just allow things to materialize. Everybody is not gonna be suited to be your friend. You know what I mean? But you have to allow things to happen. Like you can't force a friendship. And friendships, when they feel one-sided, they don't feel one-sided for no reason. They are one-sided. You know what I mean? So when you constantly giving and you're not receiving, then it's like you got to know enough to know that let me lean back. Exactly.
See, I'm a quiet person. So at work, I just speak to the people at work because that's what this is. This is my job. I don't speak. I just, hey, what's up? And that's it. That's it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's only about 2 or 3 people at my job that I actually sit down and talk to. And that's the ones that kind of want to know the truth. And when they ask me something, you give me my opportunity to let you know something. Other than that, it's what it is. It's work, and that's it.
Two things real quick. Just like in children's lesson, we're talking about the fruits of the spirit, and love was the first one. What we need to make sure that the children understand, because everybody has a desire to love and be loved, but the first one you have to love and be loved by is yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you won't be able to recognize the love coming from anybody else when you put yourself in a situation to be misused. Also, you gotta let them know the different levels when you meet an individual. You got acquaintances, you got associates, and they gotta go through those 2 phases before you can even bestow the title of friendship on them. Acquaintance is just somebody you met, you just acquainted with them. You know their name, maybe, a couple of details about their background. And then as it goes on, they show themselves that they have similar interests. They're not the type to try to put nobody down. Whatever, you may start to associate with them because you got common interests. And then the truth of the situation is going to be revealed over time. That's what we too impatient as a society, and we want everything instant gratification right now. And I'm telling you, you end up hurt that way. And you talking about like forcing friendships. That's the worst thing you can do, because all they gonna do, the person that they've already showed you they don't want to be bothered with. So in order for you to get out of their face, they gonna be as mean and harsh to you as humanly possible until they click for you. I don't need to be around this stuff. That's if you get it.
Right.
Not necessary. They don't be mean to you. They don't want to be bothered with you. They ain't mean to you. They want to know what you gotta say. You know what you gotta say. Gonna be nice enough to you what you gotta say, and then be kind to you for a minute, and then
requirement from the pastor.
So if everybody just make sure you yourself is a true friend. Don't worry about what nobody else doing on the other side. Like I say, self-mastery. Make sure that you are right and on point with it.
That's what anything. Can't focus on what nobody else got going on. You can't focus on what somebody else doing, how they doing it. Master yourself. It's enough within you that you haven't taken care of yet, for you to have to look and care about what somebody else got going on. Focus on mastering you, like I said. Make sure that you're a good friend first. Whoever not a good friend to you, it don't matter. You just make sure that you're the friend that can be counted on. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all looking at what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Other people gonna get punished for what they do, whether it's by y'all or just life itself. You know what I'm saying? Focus on you. Make sure you good. Everything else will fall into place.
Yep. We had a couple now.
My boy got the genuines on. Go ahead. Oh.
Oscar music. Right.
All right, y'all. Let's pray out.
Before we pray out, just a couple of announcements. The fundraiser events that we got planned. We got the skating party planned for the 19th. So if Sister Alicia has the tickets. If you need tickets to sell, Sister Alicia had the tickets. Raise your hand again one more time. So Sister Alicia, you have the tickets or whatever. So we want to make this this fundraising event a success. We also, like I said, we have the Chosen Seed apparel. This is one of the necklaces for the ladies. And then y'all saw the necklace I was wearing. Brother Eric have on the necklace as well, on the larger ones. But once again, like all the proceeds from all of this gear, the fundraisers and everything is going toward the building. It's going toward the building. Just so we just don't constantly push that. And then a brother made a suggestion. We were on the phone on a conference call the other day, and the brother made a suggestion that was real good, something that we can do like every weekend as a fundraiser throughout the summer months is split up, hit a couple of these corners and sell waters, ice cold waters at the light. He was saying that they was able to pull in with he was with
another group. Another group.
Yeah, another group. But he said they was able to pull in like $800 to $1,000 a weekend, like just selling waters. So, you know, we definitely want to try that type of thing. Candy bars, that's coming real soon now that the feast has ended and we can start back stacking. But so
That boy want that 11.
Just no, it's always stacking, buddy. So let's just make sure we keep that fundraiser in mind. We want to make the fundraiser on the 19th a success. I forget how much are the tickets? The tickets are $10. And then anybody that's watching the stream, like Sister Pamela had already put it in, but if you want to contribute, just you can send PayPal contributions to chosen.c1@gmail.com. You can also, if you were interested in coming to the fundraiser event, to the skating party May 19th, send an email, shoot you all the information. We're gonna be pushing it heavy on social media that we having this fundraiser event. So it's all to the good for the love of the people, so we can make sure we have a place with enough space, we can have food and all that stuff. So just to let everybody know. Yeah. So I think that's it. If anybody, nobody else has it. If anybody has tickets to the got tickets from Brother Johnny and Sister Misha for the concert, for the John Biggie concert, make sure that they receive their payment for the tickets. And if you're interested in going, he has tickets still.
praise concert on May the 11th. May 11th? Yep. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, chill out.
Bake sales? Yeah. The floor is wide open for whatever. If we gonna make some money selling some baked goods, then let's bake some goods and make some money. Whatever. It's completely wide open. You know, whatever ideas that we have. I know we did dinners. We sold fish dinners. We sold what else? What kind of dinners we sold? Fish dinners.
Fish dinners, did we do chicken?
Can't remember. But I
We
know we
did
did
fish
fish dinner. We had a couple fish fries, so you know, and it was suggested to do dinners, but you know,
Fish dinners did. That was good.
yeah. So we, you know, whatever ideas that we have, if we got a plan to enact the idea, that way we can, you know, get them to work, and let's do it. All about it. So, and that's anybody who watched the stream as well. If you have any good ideas for fundraisers, like you open up any and all suggestions. That's the goal, to raise some funds. Yeah, we talked about the candy bars. The only thing is, I think that we have, rather than going and purchase all of the candy bars, and then we were talking about like individuals purchasing the candy bars, and then you get your money back once you sell them. You know what I mean? Instead of us spending all this money on candy bars, and then, you know, I mean, we can definitely do that though. We can definitely do that. I forget how much they cost, but I think they sell them at GFX. I'll look tomorrow. I gotta go there tomorrow, so I'll look. Anybody else have anything?
And if you're looking for a church home,
I'm out. Let me get out.
I'm just talking back.
We move now.
Let's pray out. All right.
All minds clear? Father, y'all, we come before you, Father, once again, asking that you would hear our prayers, Father. We come standing together, Father, on one accord, of one mind, of one heart, Father, of one belief, Father, one faith, understanding that through your Son, that we are able to be reconciled unto you, Father, that our relationships with friends and family, Father, are mended according to your word, Father. We pray that the words that were spoken today, Father, that came forth, Father, will be used for the edification of your people, Father, the upbuilding and the uplifting of your people, Father, that we would use your words, Father, to in our own lives, Father, for friendships, for relationships, so we would have healthy friendships, Father. Father, we pray and ask, Father, that you would just continue to walk with us, Father, lead us, guide us into righteousness, Father. Be a light unto our path, Father, and order our steps. We pray, Father, that you would just continue to walk with us, Father. Allow your Ruach, Father, to speak through us, Father, that we would present a word of power and strength unto your people that may not know about you, Father, but we would be apt to show them, Father, according to your word, Father, the goodness and your mercy. Father, we just pray a special prayer, Father, for the brother Donnie, Father, and his wife, Monica, Father, who was ailing right now in the hospital. We pray and ask, Father, that you would just touch her right now, Father. We understand that healing comes forth, Father, through your Son, Father. And we ask, Father, that you would allow healing to be manifest right now, Father, even as we speak, Father. Asking that you would touch the sister, Father, whatever is ailing her, give comfort unto her husband, understanding that you and you alone can do all things, Father. That he would be ever so faithful to just keep you present on his mind, Father, that you would heal his wife, Father, and allow her strength to return. Father, all things we pray and we give thanks. Bashem Yehovah, Wabenkaya, Oshua, Hamashiach, Baruch HaKodesh. So be it.
So be it.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Ikadosh.
Ikadosh.
Shenka.
Shenka.
Tavo.
Tavo.
Matuka.
Matuka.
Yease.
Yease.
Ratzonka.
Ratzonka.
Baretz.
Baretz.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Nasha.
Nasha.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Tein Lanu.
Tein Lanu.
Hayom.
Hayom.
Likim.
Likim.
Ikanu.
Ikanu.
Usla.
Usla.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Ek.
Ek.
Ashmatenu.
Ashmatenu.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Sokim.
Sokim.
Anaknu.
Anaknu.
Lasher.
Lasher.
Ashmu.
Ashmu.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Wa'al.
Wa'al.
Tabinu.
Tabinu.
Lede.
Lede.
Masa.
Sa.
Ki.
Ki.
Im.
Im.
Hatsilanu.
Masalanu.
Min.
Min.
Hara.
Hara.
Ki.
Ki.
Laka.
Laka.
Amam Laka.
Amalaka.
Wahagibura.
Wahagibra.
Watifere.
Wahatifare.
Lome.
Lome.
Gulamin.
Gulamin.
So be it.
So
Yeah.
hallelujah.
Hey, computer, I did it.
Tie your shoes up.
You ready?
I did.
Are you tired?
How very time. Hallelujah. I just can't get it myself. Because not get it right there. No. And I still got your coat. Guys, coat. Look.
So what?
Look, he shouldn't.
What's wrong with that?
We're inside.